Welcome to Shovelware Diggers. Our dig team's currently excavating the Softkey Shareware 2000 Hit Games 2 CD collection. You can find a link in the video description containing the entire directory structure of this archive. Here's what our diggers have for week 173. For more information on how to join the dig team, simply follow the Patreon link in the video description. Now without further ado, let's get started. Well, this one's been in the queue for a while, but Zed Supremus, CatDog Joe, Michael Madsen, and Anonymous Freak have all dug up WINGAMES /action /WALLBALL. Well, this is probably going to be some kind of Breakout clone, I'm going to guess. Just, WALLBALL. Hitting down a wall with a ball. Kind of makes sense to me. Got a help file. Help file's not in English. That's not gonna help me. What kind of help file is this? Well, okay, obviously it's, Actually, I don't recognize this language at all. That's a first. Usually I can tell, what language it is by sort of, picking up on certain keywords, but I don't know what language this is. Not even slightly. So, if anybody... I'm sure somebody's gonna know, so let me know in the comments. Okay, so let's see what we actually have here. Okay. So it's pretty small from the looks of it. Yeah, we got this little thing right here. There's also a scoreboard. Well, I guess we can check out the options. Levels goes up to 9. There is sound, apparently. And then there is an about. So, version 1. Made in 7/1/1993 by 3 different people whose names I will butcher completely if I attempt to pronounce them. So, not even going to try. So right off the bat, before I even start playing here, this is kind of looking like a cross between Arkanoid and some kind of baseball thing. Because it's got a baseball character in the background, but we also got an Arkanoid paddle. And it does stop moving if the mouse cursor goes out of the window, so that's something I gotta be careful of. Whoops. I have no idea what that said because it's so small. Splash. Okay, there we go. I am not hearing any sound effects whatsoever, even though I turned the sound on, so no idea what's up with that. Okay, doing a bit better now. It almost looks as though it's squished somewhat. And yeah, apparently you only get 3 lives before it completely fails out. So we gotta start a new game? Okay. But yeah, it kind of looks like it's squished horizontally, even though that's the resolution that's been extended in a sense. I don't get what's going on with that. So one thing I do want to point out is that the hit detection is actually incredibly precise. If you hit the ball on the corners of the paddle, it seems to just go straight through, on the very corners. So you got to be very careful not to let the ball get too close to the edge of the paddle. Well, it seemed to work there fine. Oh. And I just accidentally discovered that if you click, it pauses the game. Oh, that's handy. Oh, interesting. I just note, if you take a look carefully, you'll see that my mouse cursor is actually way outside of the window right now. So, even though when the game is paused, it's not tracking the paddle position properly with the mouse cursor, when the game is unpaused, it actually is. So, although you'll notice it is sort of off-center, I'm not quite sure if it's, yeah, it'd be kind of a tricky thing I don't think it would really matter, just how close to the edges of the screen the cursor is, just from nature of the fact that the screen is bigger than the window that we're in here, but yeah, the controls are actually fine now. Getting the last brick always takes forever. Although I think, no, it's actually going, oh no, there it goes. Hooray, next level, and we actually get different artwork too. I kind of like this sort of Windows 16 color dithered effect that's going on here. I've actually kind of I actually like the aesthetic of old Windows 3.1 dithering. It's ugly, for sure, but even like back as a kid, there was something about that aesthetic and graphics that just sort of, I don't know, it gave it its own unique feel. And apparently those red blocks up there are double hit blocks. So yeah, apart from the fact that the sound effects don't appear to be working, this is it's a perfectly viable game of Breakout. It's just, it seems squished for some reason. It's just so weird, given the fact that you'd think the opposite would be the problem. So yeah, that was WALLBALL. Apparently a Breakout clone made from 3 people who speak a language that I am not familiar with. That or it's just been translated in a very different way than I'm used to seeing, but either way, plays perfectly fine. Our next dig comes from Jonathan Gosselin and James Dunn. DOSGAMES /PB /Faceball. More balls, apparently. Whoops, I accidentally put in a slash there. So we got a COM file and a doc file. And for some reason, the doc file is 5 years older than the COM file? What? That's kind of weird. What's the doc file have for us here? Faceball, a pinball game created by the Pinball Construction Set. Oh, well, okay, that explains a few things then. Although it's nice that the guy actually did include some text here. Because a lot of the times when you see these Pinball Construction Set tables, they're just released with like no documentation, so if you don't know what the controls are, good luck playing them. Anywho, oh wow. This immediately wins the award for one of the most creative looking Pinball Construction Set tables I have seen. And it immediately loses points for the presence of gobble holes. Fun. Okay, let's see where we end up here. I gotta make sure to turn the cycles back down here. Okay. Okay, so we're already, racking in a whole bunch of points there. That, too, was a gobble hole. So there's 3 gobble holes in this table. That's gonna be a little annoying. Although I want to see if we can get a ball up into that face on the side with the chipped teeth and everything. Oh, it's not gonna help with that gobble hole there. Let's see if we can actually not lose the ball. Okay, let's see if we can get a ball into that face. Probably not, but you never know. Oh geez, the ball actually started acting a little weird there. I think because the speed changed after all the balls went down and made it kind of... Yeah, the way the ball's reacting on this table is just... What the... Did you guys just see that? It's like the ball bounced off of invisible things? What? Yeah, look at that. There's like invisible obstacles that the ball is bouncing off of. That is so weird. Like, this table... Okay. As we've seen, I've played quite a number of Pinball Construction Set tables so far on the show. And this one definitely earns the award for one of the... That just went straight through there. This one definitely earns the award for one of the most unique that I've seen. But it's playing very badly. First of all, the presence of invisible barriers is just weird. Like, and look at that, the ball actually went through the wall there. What is up with this table? This is so weird, and it's actually making it difficult to play because of that. Not to mention gobble holes. 3 freaking gobble holes. Gobble holes are on a pinball table. They fell out of fashion because the idea is, if the ball goes down a gobble hole, that's the end of the ball. Like, that's not fun. You don't want to lose the ball by making a shot. There's a reason why gobble holes fell out of favor, and it's because they originally were meant as sort of like your final bonus for on a table when the gambling aspect was still there. But without a gambling aspect, what's the point? The idea is if you're skillful at the game, you should be able to keep playing. So that's, yeah. I still find it kind of weird that they even included gobble holes in Pinball Construction Set just for that reason. But, you know, they were a part of pinball for quite a long time, so I mean, it makes sense that they're in the game, it's just people shouldn't be using them. So yeah, this was the Faceball pinball table by Peter Hebert? It doesn't say Herbert, it says Hebert. Oh, this is just a weird table. It's a weird table, it's not fun to play, but it does look interesting, and I'll give it that. And our last dig for today comes from Dookie and Anthony. DOSGAMES /board/1laser. Since this is in the board games folder, I'm going to guess that it's like some kind of laser reflection game. We don't have any text files here though, just a couple PXL files, whatever those are, and a laser.exe. Laser Chess. Do you want instructions? Sure. It's by Peter Venable. Laser chess is a high-tech variation of the ancient game of chess. As in chess, the object of the game is to eliminate the king of the opponent. The major difference in laser chess is implied by its title. It has a piece known as a laser. This laser can shoot at other pieces on the board and destroy them. Many of the pieces in play have mirrors or reflective properties which bounce the laser beams in different directions. In this way, complex shots may be lined up using both friendly and hostile mirrors. A piece called a beam splitter gives you the ability to target more than one piece simultaneously. So I know that in the past we've seen like a laser chess type game, but this is not the same thing. So I guess the idea of adding lasers to chess is so popular, multiple people thought of doing it. Okay, so this is interesting here. It's saying that there's no rule laser chess, however, there's no rule laser chess which forbids moving into check. So it seems as though being in check is not necessarily a bad thing? I don't know. So yeah, it seems like all the different pieces have sort of different reactions to what happens when the beam hits them. So apparently these keys are used to move the cursor. So that's a lot of keys. Hopefully it's not too ridiculous. Space used to select a piece or rotate a piece. Enter, move selected piece to cursor or finish as rotating. You have to use the P or the F5 key to switch between move and rotate modes, and F9 fires a laser. Okay. And this is interesting too. It's saying here that the person who made this was actually 15 when he made it. And even though the game itself is freeware, he's selling the source code for $50, which, given the fact it's written in Turbo C, kind of makes it a little more legitimate. And actually, also on that front, the language in this game, it's not perfect, but it's written pretty well. So for a 15-year-old, this guy's really got his tech and English down. Okay, so how do I want to do this? Well, I'm going to guess that there's no two-player mode. Why can't I move there? Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, so on every player's turn, you have a move phase and a rotate phase, where you can move one piece and rotate another piece. Got it. So I could say move this piece, right there, and then I get to rotate a piece. So I'll rotate. I think these are the knights, so these will probably move like knights. So rotate this one. And I'm actually going to have blue fire his laser. There's an explosion for you. So red player just lost a shield pawn. And now it's immediately red's turn because firing your laser ends your turn. So let's see. I'm going to move this piece Like this. Can't do that. Do all the pieces not move like knights? And I'm actually going to change the rotation of this piece. Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to do that. Well, I can actually pass my turn. Or can I? Okay, I see what's going on. You can actually, the passing function allows you to swap whether you're moving or rotating first. So you can do either one first if you want to. But yeah, what I meant to do here is, let's move that light. What I meant to do here was rotate this piece. That way, if blue were to fire his laser again, it would bounce all the way around and smash his mirror here. Actually, I kind of want to see what happens with the beam splitter. So let's do, move this guy one here. Oh, those are the ones that move like knights. Interesting. Okay, let's just see what happens if we fire a laser on blue's side. Okay, so that's what the splitter does, is it splits it in sort of a T shape. But now what happens if I do this on red's side? Oh, well, that went well. And red just blew up his own laser. So, I mean, without your laser, how would you win? I think you'd be pretty screwed by this point. But I suspect there's probably ways to take pieces and such, but in any case, that was laser chess, and it's different. Well, I guess as different as laser chess could be, considering the fact we've seen at least one other game that's trying to combine lasers and chess together. I don't know. It's like one of the things I remember from high school is using those sort of like light boxes to examine like the differences when you're like following the light beams across the table into like different kinds of prisms and lenses and stuff to see how that changes the properties of the beam. And I think that resonated with a lot of people through school and inspired these kinds of laser bouncing games. So that's just my theory on that. Maybe I'm wrong about it, but that's kind of the impression I get whenever I play one of these things and why it feels like there's so many of them.